The small research ship Horizon drifted through the dark space at the edge of human territory. Inside, Ellie Mason looked at the readings on her screen with excitement. The science team had found something amazing, a new mineral that could change space travel forever. "Captain Russell, you need to see this," she called over the comm system. Steve Russell made his way to the science lab. He was tall with broad shoulders and a face marked by years of space travel. His blue uniform was neat as always. "What have you got for me, Ellie?" he asked. Ellie pointed to the screen. "This mineral absorbs energy in a way I've never seen before. If we can study it more, we might be able to make faster ships." The captain smiled. This was why he loved these missions. Even after 20 years in space, there was always something new to find. The happy moment didn't last long. The ship alarm began to sound. "Captain, to the bridge." Dan Miller's voice came through the comm. The fear in his voice was clear. Russell ran, with Ellie right behind him. When they reached the bridge, Dan was at the communication station, his face pale. "3 ships just appeared on our scans," Dan said. "They're not answering our calls, and they're moving fast." Russell looked. At the main screen, 3 large ships were coming toward them. They were shaped like giant insects with sharp points and dark metal hulls. "Vraxians," Russell said quietly. Everyone on the bridge went silent. The Vraxians were known to attack ships that went near their space, but the Horizon was nowhere near Vraxian territory. "But we're in free space," Ellie said. "They have no right to attack us here." "They don't care about rights," Russell replied. "Battle stations, get the shields up now." The crew moved quickly, but they knew the truth. The Horizon was a research ship, not a warship. They had basic shields and a few small guns for defense. Against 3 Vraxian ships, they stood no chance. The first hit shook the whole ship. People fell to the floor as the lights flickered. A second hit followed quickly. "Shields down to 40%, shouted the defense officer. Russell helped a young crew member up from the floor. "Dan, send out an SOS now. Include our location." "And who's attacking us?" Dan worked fast at his station. "Broadcasting on all emergency channels, Captain." Another hit rocked the ship. A panel exploded near the back of the bridge, sending sparks everywhere. 2 crew members ran to put out the small fire that started. "Shields at 15%, the defense officer reported. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. Russell knew they had minutes at most. "Ellie, get all the data on that mineral and put it in the SOS message. If we don't make it, at least that discovery won't be lost." Ellie nodded and ran. Back to the science lab. "All hands to escape pods," Russell ordered over the ship's speakers. "This is not a drill. Get to the escape pods now." As the crew ran through the hallways, the ship took another hit. The lights went out completely before. The emergency lights came on, bathing everything in a dull red glow. In the science lab, Ellie worked as fast as she could. Her hands shook as she copied the data files. When the next hit came, she was thrown against the wall. Pain shot through her shoulder, but she ignored it and kept working. Back on the bridge, Russell watched the Vraxian ships on the screen. They had stopped firing and were now moving to surround the Horizon. "They're not trying to destroy us," he realized. "They want to board us." Dan looked up from his station. "The SOS is still sending, but I don't know if anyone is close enough to help." "Keep it going as low as you can," Russell ordered. "Then get to an escape pod." "What about you, sir?" Dan asked. Russell touched the cut on his head. "I'll be right behind you. Someone needs to make sure that message keeps sending." Dan hesitated, then nodded and left the bridge. Russell moved to the communications station and checked the signal. The SOS was still going out, carrying details of the attack and Ellie's mineral data. Down in the science lab, Ellie finished her work just as the ship rocked with another impact. This was different. Not weapons fire, but the sound of something hitting the hull. "They're here," she whispered. She grabbed the data chip and ran for the door. In the hallway, she nearly ran into Dan. "Ellie, the captain says to get to the escape pods now." "The Vraxians are boarding the ship," Dan said, grabbing her arm. "What about the captain?" Ellie asked as they ran through the red-lit hallway. "He's staying behind to make sure the SOS keeps going," Dan replied. They turned a corner and found 2 more crew members, both injured but still moving. Together, they helped each other toward the escape pod section. The sounds of the ship being cut into echoed through the halls. When they reached the escape pod area, most of the pods were already gone. Only 2 remained. They helped the injured. Crew members into one pod. "Get in," Dan told Ellie, pointing to the last pod. "Not without you and the captain," she said. A loud crash came from nearby. The Vraxians had broken through the hull. "There's no time," Dan insisted. He pushed a data chip into Ellie's hand. "This has everything, the attack, the mineral data, and the captain's final orders. Get it back to Earth." Before she could argue, Dan pushed her into the pod and hit the launch button. The door sealed shut as Ellie screamed for him to wait. Through the small window, she saw Dan turn to face the hallway, pulling out his standard-issue stun gun. The escape pod shot away from the dying ship. Through tears, Ellie watched as the horizon grew smaller behind her. She could see the Vraxian ships attached to it like parasites. She knew the captain and Dan would fight to the end, buying time for the escape pods to get away. The pod's communication system crackled to life. It was picking up the tail end of the SOS from the horizon. "This is Captain Steve Russell of the Earth Research Vessel Horizon. We are under attack by Vraxian forces in neutral space. They are boarding our ship. If anyone receives this, be warned, they are taking humans alive. I don't know why, but they want us alive. This is a direct violation of the Galactic Peace Treaty. Earth Command, if you're receiving this, send everything you've got." The message cut off. Ellie watched as a bright flash lit up space where the horizon had been. The captain had destroyed the ship rather than let it fall completely into enemy. Ellie looked down at the data chip in her trembling hand. She had to survive. She had to get this information back to Earth. What she didn't know was that the SOS had already been received. Far away, at the edge of human space, Fleet Commander Maria Ortiz stood on the bridge of the massive warship Defender. Her face was hard as stone as she listened to Captain Russell's final message. "Prepare the fleet," she ordered. "All ships. Battle stations." The officer beside her looked shocked. "The entire 7th Fleet, Commander? That's over 50 warships." Maria's eyes never left the screen showing the location of the horizon's distress signal. "The Vraxians have attacked and captured our people in neutral space. They've crossed a line they cannot uncross." She turned to face the bridge crew. "Humanity has played nice with the Galactic Council for years. We've hidden our strength. Kept our true nature secret. That ends today." As she spoke, alerts were already going out to every human warship in the sector. The sleeping giant was waking up. "The Vraxians think they found easy prey," Maria said quietly. "They're about to learn what it means to provoke a species that evolved on a death world." The massive space station Unity floated in the neutral zone between major galactic powers. It was home to the Galactic Council, where representatives from all peaceful species met to solve problems. Today, the council chamber was filled with raised voices. Frank Peterson stood calmly as alien representatives shouted questions at him. At 60 years old with gray hair and deep lines on his face, the human ambassador had seen many crises, but none like this. "The human fleet has left its territory without permission," yelled the representative from the Moxian Alliance, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. This is an act of aggression. Peterson waited for the noise to die down. We received a distress call from one of our research ships. It was attacked in neutral space. We are responding to help survivors. Lord Zix-Tick of the Vraxian Horde stepped forward. He looked like a 6-foot-tall praying mantis in elegant robes. His voice clicked and hissed through his translator. The human vessel was in Vraxian space, conducting illegal scans of our resources. My people defended their territory, as is our right. That's a lie, Peterson replied, his voice still calm. Our ship was in neutral space. We have the coordinates from the distress signal. A council arbiter Xylith raised her hand for silence. She belonged to the Eldarin race, ancient and respected for their wisdom. Her skin shimmered like mother of pearl in the chamber lights. Ambassador Peterson, the sudden movement of such a large human fleet is concerning to all council members, she said. Many species here didn't even know humans had so many warships. Peterson nodded. We have kept our military strength private, as is our right. But make no mistake, we are coming for our people, one way or another. Lord Zix-Tick's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Your threats are empty, human. Even if your entire species came to fight, the Vraxian Horde would crush you like the soft creatures you are. Before Peterson could respond, his assistant rushed into the chamber and handed him a datapad. Peterson read it quickly, his face growing harder with each line. Council members, he said, looking up. I've just received confirmation that the Vraxians have been targeting isolated human ships for months. This wasn't a single incident. It's a pattern. Zix-Tick stepped back, his compound eyes flickering. This is fabrication. Where is your proof? In a small meeting room away from the main chamber, Lisa Ward worked quickly on her computer. The intelligence officer had been sent by Commander Ortiz to find evidence of Vraxian attacks. What she found was worse than anyone expected. Lisa was young for her position, only 32, but she had a gift for finding patterns where others saw nothing. Her dark hair was cut short for practicality, and she hadn't slept in nearly 24 hours. Got you, she whispered as her screen filled with data. She opened a communication channel to Commander Ortiz's flagship. On the Defender, Maria Ortiz received Lisa's transmission in her private quarters. As she reviewed the evidence, her hands tightened into fists. How many ships? She asked. Lisa's tired face appeared on the screen. At least 7 research vessels in the past 6 months. Commander, all reported as lost to accidents or meteor strikes. But the pattern is clear when you look at their last known positions. Maria studied the star map Lisa had sent. Each lost ship was marked with a small red dot. Together, they formed a line leading deeper into neutral space and closer to Vraxian territory. They've been testing our defenses, Maria said, learning our technology. But why take people alive? There's more, Lisa said. I found hidden transmissions between a Vraxian science vessel and someone on the council station. They're experimenting on the humans they've captured. Maria's face showed no emotion, but her voice became like ice. Send everything to Ambassador Peterson immediately, and prepare the fleet for jump to these coordinates. She pointed to a spot on the map dot. Back in the council chamber, Frank Peterson received Lisa's data. As he reviewed it, Lord Zix-Tick moved toward the exit. Lord Zix-Tick, Peterson called out, his voice echoing in the large room. Would you like to explain why your science vessels have been conducting illegal experiments on captured humans? The chamber erupted in shock. Zix-Tick froze, then turned slowly. I have no knowledge of such actions, he said. But his mandibles twitched nervously. Peterson displayed the evidence on the large screen for all council members to see. 7 human ships attacked. Over 200 crew members missing. and communications showing your direct approval of the operations. Arbiter Xylith moved to examine the evidence more closely. Her expression grew troubled as she read. "These actions, if proven true, violate our most sacred laws," she said. "Taking sentient beings for experimentation is forbidden." Zixtik's posture changed. He stood taller, his front limbs rising slightly. "You don't understand? It was necessary. The humans ... They're not what they seem." "Explain yourself," Xylith demanded. "We classified them wrong when they joined the Council," Zixtik said. "They claimed to be from a standard world, but our scouts visited their planet. Earth it's a death world." Category 12. A wave of fear passed through the chamber. Most council races evolved on peaceful planets with mild conditions. Death worlds were rare, planets with extreme gravity, deadly weather, and aggressive life forms. Species from such worlds were always stronger, faster, and more aggressive than others. And a Category 12 death world was the most extreme classification possible. "That's impossible," said the Moxian representative. "No intelligent species could evolve on a Category 12 world. The conditions would be too harsh." "Yet they did," Zixtik insisted. "We needed to understand how. For the safety of all council races." Peterson stepped forward. "So you attacked our ships and took our people for experiments? Because you were afraid of us?" "We should all be afraid," Zixtik replied. "Humans have hidden their true nature. They've disguised their strength. Who knows what else they're hiding?" In that moment, an alert sounded throughout the station. A communications officer rushed in. "Arbiter Xylith," the officer said, "we've detected a large-scale space battle at the coordinates of the human distress call. The human fleet has engaged Vraxian forces." On the main screen, images appeared of the battle. The human ships moved with precision that shocked the council members. Their technology, hidden until now, was far more advanced than what they had. Shared with the council. "You see," Zixtik said, "they've been deceiving us all." Peterson watched the battle unfold on the screen. "No, Lord Zixtik. We simply kept our capabilities private, as is our right. We came to the council in peace. We shared our knowledge and traded fairly. We followed every rule." He turned to face the Vraxian directly. "But you should have researched Earth's history more carefully before you started taking our people. On our death world, as you call it, we learned one lesson above all others." "And what lesson is that, human?" Zixtik asked. Peterson's eyes never left the Vraxian's face. "We protect our own, at any cost." On the screen behind them, the human fleet continued its advance against the Vraxian forces. The council members watched in stunned silence as they witnessed, for the first time, what humanity was truly capable of when provoked. The human fleet moved through space like a school of deadly fish. At the center was the Defender, Commander Maria Ortiz's flagship. On its bridge, Maria studied the holographic map showing the area where the Horizon had sent its last signal. "Scan everything," she ordered. "Find me any trace of our people." The bridge crew worked quickly. A young officer named Greg Howard ran the tactical scans. His fingers moved fast over the controls as data flowed across the screens. "Commander," he called out after several minutes, "I'm picking up a faint energy trail. It's similar to the Horizon's engine signature, but it's not coming from where the distress call was sent." Maria moved to his station. "Where is it coming from?" Greg pointed to a large asteroid field nearby. "There, it's weak, but it's there. Could it be from an escape pod?" Maria asked. Greg nodded. "Possibly. Or it could be debris that drifted." Maria straightened up. "Prepare a scouting party. I want that asteroid field checked thoroughly." As the human fleet approached the asteroid field, they found something unexpected. Hidden among the largest asteroids was a Vraxion facility. It was built into the rock with only a few structures visible from the outside. "They've got a hidden base here," Maria said, looking at the scan results. "That's why they attacked the horizon. Our ship got too close to their secret operation." She turned to her communications officer. "Send a message to all ships. Surround the facility. No Vraxian ships get in or out." Inside the hidden Vraxion base, Katie Bell lay strapped to a metal table. She had been a junior engineer on the horizon before the attack. Now she was a test subject. The Vraxians had injected her with various substances for days. Watching how her body reacted, Katie was strong for her small size. She had grown up on a farm in the American Midwest, where hard work was a way of life. But even her strength had limits. Her arms were bruised from the injections, and her throat was raw from screaming. A Vraxian scientist named Vexcor observed her from behind a glass wall. He was fascinated by her resilience. Most species would have died after the first day of tests, but the human was still alive and conscious. "Incredible," he said to his assistant. "She's processed the toxin that kills Moxians in minutes. Her cellular repair rate is off our charts." His assistant clicked nervously. "The humans shouldn't be this strong. Their planet must be more dangerous than we thought." Vexcor moved closer to the glass. "I'm beginning to think Earth isn't just a death world. It might be the death world, the most extreme environment to ever produce intelligent life." An alarm suddenly blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Vexcor rushed to a communication panel. "What's happening?" he demanded. A frantic Vraxian voice responded. "We're surrounded. Human warships have appeared all around the asteroid field. They're demanding we surrender and release all human captives." Vexcor compound eyes widened. How did they find us so quickly? The Horizon's distress call shouldn't have reached their fleet for days. "Their ships are faster than we thought," the voice replied, "and they're deploying ground teams. They'll be inside within minutes." Outside the facility, small human ships launched from the fleet. They carried soldiers in powered combat armor. Major Alan Dixon led the main assault team. He was a veteran of many battles on Earth and in space. His face was serious as he briefed his team. "We have confirmed human life signs inside," he told them. "At least 20 captives. Our priority's getting them out alive." A younger soldier asked, "What about the Vraxians, sir?" Alan's expression didn't change. "We take prisoners if they surrender. Otherwise, do what you have to do." The human ships attached themselves to the outer hull of the Vraxian facility. Special cutting tools quickly created entry points. Alarm systems blared as the humans breached the first defensive line. Inside, Vraxian security forces rushed to defend their facility. They were armed with weapons designed to stun and immobilize. They had never needed to kill before. Most species surrendered quickly when captured. The first group of Vraxian guards took positions at the main corridor. They expected the humans to come in slowly, carefully. What they saw instead shocked them. Human soldiers in powered armor moved with incredible speed. They didn't take cover or move cautiously. They charged forward, absorbing hits from Vraxian weapons that barely slowed them down. Each human moved with purpose and precision, their reflexes faster than the Vraxians could track. "Fall back," the Vraxian commander shouted. "Seal the inner doors." But it was too late. The humans broke through their line in seconds. Some Vraxians threw down their weapons and surrendered. Others tried to fight and were quickly overwhelmed. Alan Dixon led his team deeper into the facility. His armor sensors guided him toward the human life signs. "Looks like they're keeping our people in different sections," he said to his team. "Split up, teams of 4. Find them all." Alan's team moved down a long corridor, and found a secured door. The control panel was designed for Phyrexian hands, but Alan simply ripped it from the wall and rewired it. The door slid open. Inside, they found 5 humans strapped to tables. Medical equipment surrounded them, taking readings and samples. Alan's team quickly moved to free them. "We're United Earth Marines," Alan told the frightened captives. "We're getting you out of here." One of the rescued humans, a woman with short brown hair, grabbed Alan's arm. "There are more of us," she said weakly. "They took some for special tests. Down that way." She pointed to another corridor. Alan nodded. "Rest easy. We'll find them all." He sent 2 of his team to escort the rescued humans back to their ship, then continued the search with his remaining soldiers. In another part of the facility, VexCorp was desperately trying to save his research data. He knew the facility was lost, but the information they had gathered about humans was too valuable to lose. "Download everything," he ordered his assistants. "The biological samples, the test results, everything." Before his assistants could respond, the door to the lab exploded inward. Human soldiers poured through the opening, weapons ready. VexCorp raised his hands. "Don't shoot. I surrender." The soldiers secured the room quickly. Alan Dixon entered last. His helmet retracted, showing his face. His eyes scanned the lab and fell on Katie Bell. Still strapped to a table. Alan moved to her side and gently removed the restraints. "Are you hurt, Mom?" he asked. Katie managed a weak smile. "Nothing that won't heal. You came just in time." As Alan helped Katie sit up, he noticed the screens around the room. They showed detailed scans of human biology, muscle density, bone structure, neural responses. The Vraxians had been studying humans at the most basic level. Alan turned to VexCorp, who was being held by 2 Marines. "Why?" he asked simply. VexCorp's mandibles trembled. "You humans, you're different, stronger, faster. Your bodies can survive things that would kill any other species. We needed to understand." Katie looked at the Vraxian scientist. "So you took us, tortured us, treated us like lab animals." "We needed to know," VexCorp insisted, "for the safety of all species." Alan's face showed no emotion. "Well, now you know what?" As human forces secured the Vraxian facility, a young woman with short dark hair worked at a captured computer station. Olivia Green was the best data specialist in the fleet. Her fingers moved quickly across the alien keyboard as she broke through the Vraxian security measures. "Major Dixon," she called out, "I think you need to see this." Alan Dixon walked over to her station. He had removed his helmet, showing his tired face and close-cut hair. "What did you find?" Olivia pointed to the screen. "These aren't just random experiments. The Vraxians have been working with other species. Look at these communication logs." Alan leaned closer. The screen showed messages between the Vraxian researchers and representatives from at least 4 other council races. "They've been sharing the data from human test subjects," Olivia explained, "and funding each other's research. This goes beyond the Vraxians. It's a conspiracy." Alan's face darkened. "Can you download all of this?" Olivia nodded. "Already doing it. But there's more." She pulled up another file. "They've been studying Earth itself, not just humans. They classified our planet as a Category 12 death world." "What does that mean?" Alan asked. "It means they think Earth is the most dangerous inhabited planet in known space," Olivia said. "Look at their notes. They can't believe intelligent life evolved in our conditions. High gravity, extreme weather, thousands of natural disasters, dangerous animals, poisonous plants, ... Alan almost laughed. "They think Earth is that bad?" "By their standards, yes," Olivia replied. "Most council species evolved on peaceful planets with stable environments. No predators, no natural disasters, low gravity. They think we single quotes well, monsters. At the Galactic Council Station, the emergency session continued. Ambassador Frank Peterson faced increasing pressure as more alien representatives joined the calls for sanctions against Earth. Your fleet launched without Council approval, said the Tralaxian representative, a small furry being with large eyes. This breaks the peace treaty. The peace treaty also forbids attacking ships in neutral space and taking captives, Peterson replied calmly. The Vraxians broke it first. Lord Zixtik clicked his mandibles angrily. The humans are making false accusations. They show doctored evidence. Peterson was about to respond when his assistant rushed in with a datapad. After reading it quickly, Peterson looked up with hard eyes. We have just rescued 27 human captives from a hidden Vraxian research facility, he announced. The chamber went silent. They were being experimented on, tortured, and the data was being shared with members of this very council. He transmitted the files to the main display. Evidence filled the screens, communication logs, research data, even images of the human captives strapped to laboratory tables. Many council members gasped or made sounds of distress in their own languages. Lord Zixtik backed away from his podium. This is ... This must be fake. One of the rescued scientists will address this council, Peterson said. He nodded to his assistant, who activated a communication link. A man's face appeared on the main screen. He was pale and thin, with dark circles under his eyes. He wore a medical gown, and monitors beeped softly in the background. My name is Sam Collins, the man said. His voice was weak but clear. I was the lead researcher on the Horizon before it was attacked 3 weeks ago. The council members watched in silence as Sam described his captivity. He explained how the Vraxians had tested his body's limits, injected him with toxins, exposed him to radiation, all while measuring his responses. They weren't just collecting biological samples, Sam said. They were afraid of us, of what we might become. Arbiter Xylith moved forward. Afraid? Why would advanced species fear humans? Sam looked tired, but his eyes were sharp. Because they found out what Earth is really like. They classified it as a Class 12 Deathworld, the highest rating possible. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Several representatives looked at their datapads, checking this claim. They discovered that humans evolved in conditions that should have killed us, Sam continued. Our gravity is higher than most inhabited worlds. Our weather can kill in hours. Our planet has regular natural disasters. Even our food can be poison to other species. He paused to take a breath. The conspirators weren't just studying us. They were trying to find a way to control us before we realized our own potential. As Sam spoke, the Defender sensors detected a new threat. A massive Vraxian fleet was jumping into the system, far larger than the human forces. Greg Howard reported to Commander Ortiz. Ma'am, long-range sensors show over 60 Vraxian warships approaching. They'll be in weapons range in 20 minutes. Maria studied the tactical display. Her fleet of 50 ships was powerful, but the Vraxians now outnumbered them. She opened a channel to all human vessels. This is Commander Ortiz. We've rescued our people, but the fight isn't over. A Vraxian armada is approaching. They're coming to destroy the evidence of what they've done and eliminate witnesses. She paused, considering her next words carefully. For years, we've hidden our true capabilities from the Galactic Council. We've played the role of peaceful newcomers. That ends today. Prepare all special systems. Authorization code, Deathworld Prime. Throughout the human fleet, hidden weapon systems came online. Armor plates shifted, revealing advanced technology that had been concealed since humans joined. The Council. Ships that had appeared to be standard cruisers transformed, showing their true power. On the council station, the representatives watched in shock as the human fleet changed before their eyes. Ambassador Peterson stood tall as the other species turned to stare at him. "You've been hiding your true military strength," accused the Moxian representative. "This is deception." "We never lied," Peterson replied. "We simply didn't show all our cards at once. What sovereign species would?" The tactical display showed the Vraxian fleet approaching rapidly. They had formed an attack pattern, clearly intending to overwhelm the human ships through sheer numbers. "Lord Zix-Tick," Peterson said, turning to the Vraxian representative, "call off your fleet. This can end now with a formal apology and reparations for the families of those who took." Zix-Tick's compound eyes gleamed. "It is too late for that, human. Your deception ends today. The Council will see what happens to species that try to hide their true nature." "No," Peterson said quietly. "They'll see what happens when you push. A Deathworlder species too far." On the Defender's Bridge, Maria Ortiz received a message from the Council station. After reading it, she opened a channel to the approaching Vraxian fleet. "Vraxian Command, this is Commander Maria Ortiz of the United Earth Fleet. Your actions have been revealed to the Galactic Council. Stand down and prepare to face justice for your crimes against our people." The response came quickly. "Human. Commander, your small fleet cannot stand against our might. Surrender now, and we may spare your lives." Maria smiled slightly. "You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you?" She turned to her tactical officer. "Battle formations. Activate all systems. Let's show them what Deathworlders can do." The human fleet moved into position, their hidden weapons powered up, glowing with energy that made the Vraxian sensors flash with warnings. The battle for humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin. The Vraxian fleet filled the view screens on the Defender's Bridge, 63 warships against the human fleet's 50. The odds didn't look good, but Commander Maria Ortiz showed no fear. Her dark eyes were calm as she studied the enemy formation. "There, spreading out to surround us," said Greg Howard from the tactical station. "Standard encirclement pattern," Maria nodded. "They think they know what our ships can do. Let's show them how wrong they are." She opened a channel to the Vraxian commander. "This is your final warning. Withdraw your forces or face the consequences." The Vraxian commander appeared on screen. His insect-like face showed no emotion that humans could read. "You are outnumbered, human. Surrender your fleet and the research. Subjects you stole from our facility." Maria's expression didn't change. "You attacked our people. You took them as specimens. You thought us weak. That was your mistake." She cut the transmission and turned to her bridge crew. "Battle stations. Execute Formation Delta." The human ships began to move. What had appeared to be a defensive circle suddenly shifted. Ships that looked like standard cruisers revealed hidden weapon ports. Vessels that had seemed slow and bulky accelerated with surprising speed. On the Galactic Council station, the representatives watched the tactical display with growing amazement. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination, each ship exactly where it needed to be. "I've never seen such precision," whispered the Tralaxian representative. "How are they doing that?" Ambassador Frank Peterson stood with his hands clasped behind his back. "Humans evolved as pack hunters on a world filled with dangers. Working together against superior forces is in our blood." The Vraxians fired first. Energy beams lanced out toward the human ships. Some hit their targets, but the human vessels absorbed punishment that would have crippled most council ships. The human fleet responded. Their weapons were unlike anything the council had seen before. Beams of blue-white energy cut through Vraxian shields with ease. Missiles that changed direction mid-flight to find gaps in enemy defenses. "Their technology is far beyond what they shared with the council," said Arbiter Xylith. She turned to Peterson. Why hide this from us? Would you have welcomed us if you knew our true capabilities? Peterson asked. Or would you have feared us as the Vraxians did? Inside one of the Vraxian warships, Lord Zixtik watched the battle with growing horror. He had slipped away from the council station to join his fleet, certain of victory. Now his ships were being systematically taken apart by the humans. Impossible, he chittered. Their weapons shouldn't be this advanced. Their ships shouldn't be this strong. His tactical officer turned to him with trembling mandibles. My lord, we're detecting new energy signatures. The humans have somehow gotten aboard 3 of our outer vessels. On those captured Vraxian ships, Major Alan Dixon and his teams moved quickly through the corridors. They had used the confusion of the battle to board enemy vessels. Now they fought their way to the control centers. Alan's team moved with the speed and strength it came from. Growing up on Earth, their reflexes were faster than the Vraxians could track. Their muscles, developed under Earth's higher gravity, gave them power that shocked the insectoid aliens. Remember, Alan told his soldiers, disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners. As human forces took control of the 3 Vraxian ships, they turned the vessel's weapons against the rest of the Vraxian fleet. Caught in crossfire from what had been their own ships, the Vraxian formation began to break. On the council station, the representatives watched in stunned silence. The humans were not just winning, they were doing it with a strategy and coordination that showed years of military experience. We came from a world that tried to kill us every day, Peterson said to the silent chamber. We evolved not just to survive, but to protect our own. We joined this council in peace, but we never forgot what we are. The Moxian representative looked at Peterson with new eyes. And what are you, human? Survivors, Peterson replied simply. On the Defender Maria. Received reports of the battle's progress. The enemy fleet is breaking formation. They're trying to retreat. Should we pursue? Greg asked. Maria considered for a moment. No, let them go, except for Lord Zixtik's ship. Target its engines only. The human fleet followed her orders. Most Vraxian ships were allowed to jump away to safety, but precise shots disabled the engines on the flagship where Lord Zixtik had taken refuge. Open a channel, Maria ordered. When Zixtik's face appeared on screen, she spoke clearly and calmly. Your ship is disabled. Your fleet has abandoned you. Surrender now. Zixtik's mandibles clicked in fury. This isn't over, human. The Council will see you for what you really are, a danger to all civilized species. No, Maria replied. They'll see that we kept our promise. We said we would come for our people, and we did. We could have destroyed your entire fleet, but we chose restraint. She leaned forward. Remember that the next time you think about threatening humans. Council security. Forces boarded Zixtik's ship and took him into custody. The conspiracy he had led was exposed, with evidence showing the involvement of officials from several council races. In the aftermath, the rescued humans were brought to the Defender for medical care. Sam Collins, still weak from his ordeal, met with Commander Ortiz in the ship's medical bay. What happens now? He asked her. The whole council knows what we are. Maria sat beside his bed. Now we stop pretending to be less than we are. It's time for the galaxy to accept humans as we really are. A week later, the Galactic Council convened to draft a new treaty. The humans, now openly acknowledged as a Deathworld species, were given new status and rights. In return, they agreed to share some of their advanced technology and help defend peaceful species against aggressors. As the Defender began its journey back to Earth, Maria stood at the observation deck. The stars streaked by as the ship traveled. Faster than light. Katie Bell joined her there. She had recovered enough to walk, though she still moved carefully. Do you think they understand us now? she asked. Maria watched the stars for a moment before answering. I think they're beginning to. They've seen what we can do when threatened. Now they need to see who we really are when at peace. Katie nodded. I heard they're classifying Earth. Officially now, as a Category 12 Deathworld. Let them, Maria said with a small smile. It's what made us who we are. On Earth, news of the battle spread quickly. Humans had revealed themselves as one of the strongest species in the galaxy. Not by choice, but by necessity. There was pride mixed with concern about the future. The Defender entered Earth's orbit 2 days later. As they approached the blue-green planet, Maria thought about what their victory meant. Humanity had shown its strength, but also its restraint. They had rescued their people without destroying the Vraxian fleet when they could have. We showed them what we're capable of, she said to Steve Russell, who had been rescued from a Vraxian prison cell. The former captain of the Horizon stood beside her, looking at Earth through the viewport. Let's hope we never have to show them. Again, he replied. As Earth grew larger in the viewport, both officers fell silent. The sight of their homeworld, the dangerous, beautiful Deathworld that had created humanity, was answer enough. They had fought to protect their people and their way of life. Now they would return to building peace, but the galaxy would never again mistake human kindness for weakness. The Defender slipped into Earth's atmosphere, returning home with a message for all humanity. The galaxy now knew what they truly were, and the age of hiding was over.